Brace yourselves for the thrilling tale of Chester's Mill, the bustling metropolis of excitement. It's your typical suburban utopia. Birds chirping, neighbors mowing lawns, and everyone pretending their lives are more interesting than they actually are. But hold on to your gardening gloves because here comes Barbie, not the plastic kind. Our charming out-of-towner, just casually burying bodies like it's a weekend hobby. Rumor has it he had a little tiff with the lifeless companion, but who needs details? Now, Barbie decides to hit the road, probably to find a town with fewer nosy sheriffs and more functional phone lines. Oh look, there's a police car. Naturally, that makes him nervous. Nothing says innocence like paranoia, right? But wait, a twist. Cows. Yes, those four-legged moo machines decide to audition for a Broadway show in the middle of the road. Barbie swerves, does some donuts, and ends up in a field. Suddenly, an earthquake. The town shakes like a nervous chihuahua, and just when you think things can't get weirder, a mysterious object falls from the sky. It slices a cow in half because, well, cows are the true heroes in this story. Barbie investigates and, surprise, it's an invisible wall. Move over, Wonder Woman. We've got an invisible wall in town. Enter Joe, the teenage investigator. Because we can't let Barbie have all the fun. Even he's shocked by the magical wall. And hey, the power is out, phones are dead, and the internet is as lifeless as a Monday morning meeting. Someone must have canceled the town's subscription to the World Wide Web. Wait, did I mention the airplane crash? Yes. A plane tries to fly over the town and slams into the invisible dome. Now, if that isn't a metaphor for life's unexpected obstacles, I don't know what is. Chaos ensues, people panic, and someone's probably screaming, "I told you so!" in the background. Meanwhile, our radio heroes, Phil and Dodie, are ecstatic about being the only voices on air. The whole town might be in chaos, but hey, higher ratings. Barbie stops a fire truck from crashing into the invisible wall because, let's face it, we need those fire trucks to deal with the flaming wreckage of our expectations for a normal town. The police arrive, but the wall's too much for their detective skills. Even Big Jim, the town's councilman, looks as clueless as a goldfish in a chess tournament. Oh, and the roads are closed. Accidents are happening left and right. Emergency announcement time. It's like the universe decided to play a cruel game of SimCity with these poor folks. But wait, there's more drama. Junior and Angie, the star-crossed lovers of our time, are having a romantic morning. Suddenly, Junior says he loves her, but Angie isn't feeling it, and boom, a slap that echoes through the town. Who needs love when there's an invisible dome party to attend? Oh, the delightful escapades of Chester's Mill, where families blissfully visit for work, completely unaware that they've stumbled into the Twilight Zone with a side of dome drama. Meet the charming trio, mothers Carolyn and Alice, and their daughter Nori. Little do they know that their plan to leave ASAP is about as successful as finding a needle in a haystack, thanks to the invisible dome shenanigans. Enter investigative reporter Julia. A concerned citizen reports an alarming surplus of propane tanks, and Julia, being the fearless investigator she is, says, "Sure, I'll look into it. Or not." Councilman Big Jim, the town's answer to transparency, graces the radio waves with a state of emergency announcement. Carolyn listens, thinking it's an advertisement for discounted pickles or something equally mundane. Spoiler alert, it's not. Just when you thought things couldn't get weirder, the family's car is seconds away from dome wrecking. But lo and behold, another car beats them to it. The family is fine, but Nori decides it's the perfect time for a seizure and some cryptic talk about a pink star. The hospital is now a crash central, and Julia and Barbie are there to help people. Julia discovers her husband's Sunday lies, while Barbie and Angie have a riveting conversation over cigarettes. Junior, the epitome of healthy relationships, witnesses this and morphs into the green-eyed monster version of himself. The military is now guarding the town borders, and scientists are scratching their heads over the dome. Apparently, they didn't have the Invisible Dome 101 class in science school. Big Jim and the sheriff play coy about the propane situation, hinting they're saving the town but refusing to spill the dome-shaped beans. Because nothing says trust like withholding vital information during an apocalypse. Barbie, our accidental long-term tourist, has no place to crash. And surprise, surprise, Junior decides it's the perfect time for a late-night chat that swiftly transforms into a threat. Barbie's left scratching his head, wondering if he missed the memo on how to avoid psychotic, jealous boyfriends. Meanwhile, the teens are busy partying like it's the end of the world. Oh wait, it actually is. Joe, in a moment of brilliance, talks about the situation with a fellow teenager just before seizing like a discount electronics store during a Black Friday sale. Angie, on the other hand, gets the unexpected pleasure of a junior-sponsored kidnapping. The fallout shelter is just the cherry on top. In the midst of the chaos, Julia graciously offers Barbie a place to crash. But plot twist. He discovers a little souvenir from his morning escapades. A picture of the man he casually offed earlier. Linda and the sheriff are on patrol. A scenic drive that ends with the sheriff's pacemaker throwing a diva fit and deciding it's had enough, taking him out in the process. In a thrilling flashback, we discover that Barbie, our accidental hitman with a heart of gold, visited the town to discuss payments with Julia's husband. Of course, disagreements over cash lead to the classic "oops, I shot him dead" scenario. It was just an accidental homicide, no biggie. Knowing the judicial system isn't into accidental murderers, Barbie decides to Marie Kondo the situation and dispose of the body. And for added suspense, he loses his necklace at the crime scene. Smooth move, Barbie. Meanwhile, Linda is having a grand old time holding her now deceased partner, while Joe is having a casual chat with his friend Ben about pink stars and seizures. Ah, teenage conversations. Always so enlightening. Over at the radio station, Dodie's got a special device to eavesdrop on the outside world. Soldiers are equally clueless about the invisible force field, proving that even the military can't handle Chester's Mill's level of absurdity. Big Jim, the town's breakfast enthusiast, gets the news of the sheriff's demise from Linda. They dash to the mortician Lester. Lester, in a shocking turn of events, reveals he and the late sheriff were propane import conspirators. Q gasps. The sheriff's death conveniently takes their secret to the grave. Talk about a silver lining. In the bunker of doom, Angie is attempting a call for help, but Junior, the relationship guru, decides to chain her to a bed. Apparently, rejection and invisible domes are like peanut butter and jelly to Junior. His diagnosis of Angie's condition is enough to make you consider a career in mental health. Linda, oblivious to the propane conspiracy, walks into the police station and catches Big Jim rummaging through the sheriff's office. Jim's excuse: checking out the will. Linda, in a plot twist nobody saw coming, believes him. Meanwhile, Jim is hunting for paperwork that could turn his life into a courtroom drama. Julia, always the overachiever, heads to the radio tower. Through her eavesdropping device, she learns about people trying to dig under the dome. Time for a radio broadcast, because nothing spells calm like spreading news about unsuccessful digging attempts. Cue the panic and irrationality, Chester's Mill's favorite pastime. Joe and Ben, the dynamic duo, decide to observe scientists near the border attempting to waterboard the dome. Well, not really, but they're checking if water has any effect. Conclusion: the dome is a thick sieve. So, Barbie decides it's time to visit his crime scene cabin for a necklace recovery mission. Junior, the self-appointed relationship police, catches him and accuses Barbie of a rendezvous with Angie. Barbie, being the master of understanding the mentally unstable, tries to reason with Junior. But alas, logic has no place in Chester's Mill. Cue the epic showdown, where Barbie easily outmuscles Junior. Meanwhile, Lester, the propane conspirator turned pyromaniac, decides it's a splendid idea to break into the sheriff's house. His brilliant plan involves finding and burning the paperwork about the propane import. But surprise, surprise, the flames dance a little too wildly and decide to engulf the entire house. The townsfolk gather, hoping for a miraculous fire truck appearance, but alas, that's too much to ask. Barbie channels his inner superhero, leading a hand-holding water brigade to save the day. Firefighters would be so proud. Linda, dead sheriff's sidekick, hears Lester's cries for help and rushes in like a fire-resistant knight. She rescues him, tossing him to the paramedics like a rag doll. Jim, ever the problem solver, finally shows up with a loader to put an end to the fiery chaos. Just another day in Chester's Mill, where even a house fire becomes a community bonding activity. But wait, drama alert. Paul, A disgruntled policeman loses it and decides that a good solution to their dome dilemma is to start shooting. His aim might be as off as a toddler playing darts, but he manages to hit a fellow officer. One dead cop, one arrested Paul, and Chester's Mill officially qualifies as the weirdest town in the universe. As the sun sets, Joe and his pals decide it's the perfect time for a skate session. Meanwhile, Linda's playing babysitter for Paul, who conveniently decides to fake a cardiac arrest. Smooth move, Paul. Linda gets a taste of his escape act and a face full of disappointment. In the bunker of Junior's questionable mental stability, Angie realizes manipulation is her ticket to freedom. She spins a yarn about a magical tunnel that might be dome-resistant. Junior, being the genius he is, wants to go alone. Because nothing says trustworthy ally, like a guy who's more tangled than a ball of Christmas lights. Jim, never one to miss the party, discovers Linda locked up instead of Paul. Oops, someone played musical jail cells. They realize Paul, armed and dangerous, is off to explore the jungle. Linda, with her detective instincts on point, heads for the wilderness, while Jim organizes a search party, because what Chester's Mill really needs right now is a hide-and-seek game with potential danger. Meanwhile, Carolyn, in her infinite worry, is at the diner, fretting over Nori. Little does she know, Nori's pulling a sneaky stayover at Joe's place. Jim arrives, giving the diner crowd a recruitment speech for the Paul hunting posse. Because, in Chester's Mill, chaos is the daily special, and the menu changes every hour. Welcome to the jungle, where our illustrious leaders, Jim and Barbie, are on a quest. Why? Well, Barbie was apparently such a phenomenal fire marshal during the House Inferno that they couldn't embark on a life-altering adventure without him. In this jungle expedition, Barbie flexes his military muscles, surprising everyone with his hidden talents. Maybe he's not just the average guy next door, but more like Rambo next door. Who knew? Meanwhile, Junior, the town's resident oddball, is on a quest of his own. Sporting a backpack and oozing nervousness, he's on the way to the mysterious tunnel. Julia, our inquisitive journalist, notices and decides to play detective. Junior's nervous answer makes her raise an eyebrow. Nothing suspicious about a guy with a backpack heading to a tunnel, right? Julia follows him because who needs personal space in Chester's Mill? Back at Joe's place, he's navigating the treacherous waters of having girls over. The nerves are palpable. Luckily, Nori is the epitome of confidence and wit. But, oh no, Ben decides to impress two more girls by showcasing the generator, unaware that electricity is the new gold in Chester's Mill. Joe has no choice but to reluctantly let them in. After all, who wouldn't want to charge their phones during a dome apocalypse? In the woods, the search party encounters the disgruntled Paul, armed and dangerous. A gunshot, a leg injury, and a heroic sacrifice later, we're left with Jim and Barbie, hot on Paul's heels. But oh no, the plot thickens when they realize Paul has a rifle and isn't afraid to use it. In the tunnels, Junior's grand revelation awaits. The dome runs through it. He gets a bit too cozy with the invisible wall, and just like the sheriff's pacemaker, his torchlight decides it's had enough. Julia, ever the wallflower, warns him, but Junior is not thrilled with her detective skills. Cue a tantrum, some wall punching, and a heart-to-heart. Julia spills her journalistic woes, and Junior reveals his bruises courtesy of Barbie, playing the sympathy card like a pro. In the woods, Barbie and Jim confront Paul, but their heroic moment is shattered when Paul aims his rifle. Cue Linda, the unexpected savior, who appears in the nick of time and shoots Paul dead. Because every good woodland adventure needs a damsel in distress turned sharpshooter. At Joe's house, Carolyn, the voice of reason, arrives to remind her daughter about responsibility. Joe and Nori's hand-holding session takes a shocking turn literally, as they both seize up and chant about pink stars falling in line. Ah, the mysteries of teenage romance in Chester's Mill. And in the bunker of doom, Junior plays nurse to Angie, unaware that she's got a pair of scissors up her sleeve, literally. As the curtain falls, Julia is playing detective in Barbie's home, snooping through his belongings. Because really, what's a love story without a touch of suspicion and a dash of privacy invasion? Oh, the joys of playing detective in the name of romance.